What's up, guys? The NFL draft is over. Rookie drafts are heating up in your Dynasty League, and today I'm going to bring you 10 players who had the best landing spots from the NFL draft. These landing spots are huge for some of these guys, bumping them up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots from where we had them pre-draft. And I don't know about you guys, but the NFL draft was a ton of fun to watch. For me, it felt like it went exactly to plan, but there were also a couple surprises. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but that is how it felt to me. If you haven't seen me before, my name is Cameron Lawrence, and I just want to welcome you to the Fantasy Football Fellas YouTube channel. And before I jump right in, I want to give us 3 honorable mentions for guys in the later rounds who still had some good, landing spots, but not necessarily going to be fantasy relevant right away. First is Jalen Wright to the Miami Dolphins. For a speedback, there really isn't anywhere else you'd want him to go other than Miami, but I do recognize that the running back room is a little crowded. Devon Achane. You got Raheem Mostert, but Raheem Mostert is 32 years old, so I do like that spot for him. I know that I just said that this is for later on guys, and I lied to you completely, because our next guy is Slick Ricky Pearsall to the 49ers. First round draft capital is huge, and as long as they move off of one of Ayuk or Debo, which it really sounds like they're going to, he'll be in one of the most efficient offenses, even though he is the 4th option. And the final guy, this is why I said later rounds, because this guy is a little farther down the draft board. It's Spencer Rattler going in the 5th round. If you're in a Superflex league, I think he's worth a flyer if you're going to be QB needy in a couple years. Derek Carr is not the answer. I think the Saints know it. I think we all know it. So in 1 to 2 years, I really think that Rattler will have a chance to be the starter in this team. So end of the 2nd, middle of the 3rd rounds in your Superflex leagues, I think that he would be worth that flyer. Alrighty, let's move on to our top 10. And we're going to start out with the Chargers' newest addition, Lad McConkey. Yes, he gets Justin Herbert, but he also has a Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman offense that is going to be pass first. So I think he'll have big plays. I think he'll be targeted. He is the one on this offense, but I just don't know if the volume is going to exactly be where we want it to see him ever reach like a wide receiver 1 status, even if he is the wide receiver 1 on this team. I think he could easily be a wide receiver 2, which is awesome, and that's why he slides in here at spot 10. At 9, I gave it to Jayden Daniels, and we said it all offseason, at least us on the fellas did. Whichever one of May or Daniels goes to Washington over New England, we're going to kind of like better, right? We like that landing spot better, and how can you not? The offense that's already there, Terry McLaurin, we're all still kind of in on Jahan Dotson, so that does help a little bit. You have Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler in the backfield. You have an offensive line that's all right. I think they're going to be improving. But the biggest thing is it's a brand new front office, brand new coaching staff coming in, bringing in a new culture. I think that's going to be huge for Jayden Daniels. And really the biggest thing for me, I know it doesn't, they haven't said it, but you got to know that this is going to be in the back of their mind. They don't want another RG3 situation. I don't think they're going to overuse him. I don't think they're going to put him in dangerous situations like they did with RG3, like this organization did. So that's why I like Jayden Daniels as the 9th best landing spot. I think this cements him as the 103, probably the 103 in your rookie drafts. At 8, I have Jonathan Brooks to the Carolina Panthers. This wasn't my favorite spot that I thought Brooks could go to, but Dave Canales last year, the new coach of the Carolina Panthers, gave Rachaad White 272 carries and 64 receptions last year. That's huge. I feel like we could honestly see a Najee Harris type rookie season. It will, of course, depend on the health of Jonathan Brooks. Sounds like he should be ready to go July 1st. But Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders in the backfield, they're really not going to be that much of competition. I'm sorry, Panthers fans, if you like those two, but they're not competition. The only problem is this offense is strictly going to go as far as Bryce Young will take them. So I don't think the touchdown upside is very high. But I do think there will be tons of opportunities for Brooks in this offense. At 7, we have Rome Odunze. And yeah, I know this year doesn't feel great. You got Keenan Allen, you got DJ Moore, but Keenan Allen's got 1 year left on his deal. DJ Moore after this year has no guaranteed money. I assume he stays on the team. I assume he's part of their future plans. But the real big thing for me is he gets to grow with Caleb. They're growing together. They're coming in together. I feel like that's going to be a pretty special bond. And, just with how good Rome is, I think Caleb is going to be the real deal in the NFL. I think you combine all of that together, and Rome Odunze definitely will have top 12 upside in your dynasty leagues for years to come. I think he is solidly the 105 to me. Maybe you could talk me into JJ McCarthy or Drake May. I think he's in that 105 to 107 range. I would take him as the 105. The sixth player is Xavier Worthy. Do I think he's the next Tyreek Hill? No, I don't. Is there a better offense to fall into for Xavier Hill? No. Or Xavier Worthy, excuse me. No, there is not a better offense. The fact that they went up and traded for him, trading with Buffalo to go get him in the first round, shows me that they're wanting to use him in their offense. The speed that he has, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, there really is no better duo to fall into. This is huge for Xavier Worthy, and I do think it puts him right at the 110, right after Brian Thomas, Brock Bowers, JJ McCarthy, Drake May tier. I think it puts him right there at the 110. And in fact, in my Dynasty League that we're doing a rookie draft right now, that is where I just took him in a Superflex, of course, I'm talking about. At 5, we have Trey Benson to the Arizona Cardinals. And I know some of you at first, because I had league mates say, ooh, that's gross. You think about it, they already have James Conner. They have a rushing quarterback in Kyler Murray. Well, we think about it a little deeper. James Conner is 28 years old. He is in the last year of his deal, and he has played more than 13 games once since 2018. That is gross. That is disgusting. And then you look at Kyler. Kyler is one of the few quarterbacks who runs the ball that actually dumps the ball off. And then on top of all that, he's going to be in one of the most dynamic offenses. So yes, maybe a little bit of a split backfield this year. And I assume, I don't know if Trey Benson is necessarily going to be a 3-down back, but moving forward, this will be his backfield. They use high enough draft capital where as long as he shows something this year, moving forward from a dynasty aspect, this will be his backfield. I personally would take him as high as the 112 to a 1 ahead of Jonathan Brooks. I understand if you'd rather take Brooks higher, that I feel like is more of a preference thing. At 4, I have Caleb Williams, and I know what you're going to say, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time of it. We knew he was going to be the number 1 pick. Why are you saying this? The addition of Odunze on top of having Keenan Allen and DJ Moore in your first year is humongous. Humongous. So I really like that. And then I know these guys aren't elite, but you do have Cole Kmet. You do have DeAndre Swift, and you do have Gerald Everett, as well as the 3 guys I just listed. A deadly trio, a pretty good supporting cast, and this whole team is going to be built around him. So yeah, I know it was obvious he was going there, but with the addition of Odunze, I do think this props him up to the 4 spot. He is my clear 101 in Superflexes. In non-Superflex leagues, I'd take him as high as the 106. Number 3 is Keon Coleman. And let's be honest, I don't think anyone's had more of a roller coaster ride through the draft process than Keon Coleman. We started towards the end of the year, he was kind of that first round wide receiver in the mix for maybe a top 3, top 4 wide receiver. Then all of a sudden it was like people were talking about him as, I don't even know if he should go in the 3rd round. And then he ends up as the first pick in the 2nd round. And I talked about it with Xavier Worthy going to Patrick Mahomes. It's very similar. You get Josh Allen here. That is huge. But the biggest thing for him is he's the unquestioned wide receiver 1 in this offense. Yes, if you want to argue Dalton Kincaid's the best, player, best pass catcher, that's the word I'm looking for. Fine, you can say that, but he's the unquestioned 1. He's the X wide receiver. He's on the outside, and you have a gunslinger like Josh Allen, who's not going to be able to be afraid to throw it in those tight windows. I really, really like this spot for Keon Coleman. I think that this really can push him up to the beginning of the 2nd round in your Superflex leagues and to the 1st round in your single QB leagues. At number 2, I have Marvin Harrison. Again, you're probably like, we kind of knew this, but we didn't know exactly, right? He could have gone to New England. He could have gone to the Giants. He ends up in Arizona, and I love that. Kyler has already supported a top 5 wide receiver before with DeAndre Hopkins. Obviously, he's not Hopkins yet, but it does show you there's upside to be had with Marvin Harrison. He is, again, the unquestioned wide receiver 1, but he has a good supporting cast around him, right? Trey McBride, you got the 2 running backs out of the backfield. Michael Wilson isn't quite there yet, but I think he is decent enough to at least people need to pay attention to him out there. So I really like this spot for Marvin Harrison. And in Superflex leagues, this does cement him for me as the 102. And finally, maybe this is obvious to you. It felt obvious to me. It's JJ McCarthy. And how could it not be? Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, an improved O-line, Aaron Jones, and then you got Kevin O'Connell calling the plays for you. Really doesn't get much better than that for a supporting cast for a rookie quarterback. And I think the best part is he doesn't have to play this year. If you're drafting him, draft him with the understanding that, hey, I might not be able to use him at all this year, but I think that only benefits him down the road. It allows him to mature. It allows him to see the flow of the game, and we've really seen that it's helped other quarterbacks in the past. So that is why I have JJ McCarthy at number 1. Once again, my name is Cameron Lawrence. Thank you so much for joining me today as we talk through the 10 best landing spots for these rookies. Good luck in your rookie drafts. If you've got rookie draft questions, drop them below. We'll try and answer them. Otherwise, DM me at CamelotFFF over on Twitter. I'll get to them as quickly as I possibly can. But good luck in your rookie drafts. Make sure you tune in for our podcast coming out tomorrow. Top 15 dynasty quarterbacks coming out Wednesday. And then we got our second podcast of the week, a rookie mock draft coming out on Thursday. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of it. But with that, deuces, and I will see you guys later this week.